Okay, this is the beginning of our Photoshop Magic lesson, and we're going to start off with opening the Content Aware file. And what we want to do is we want to move this guy over onto the left side of the wall. And so what we're going to do is you're going to press the J key on your keyboard. J is going to open up our healing tools. And from J, we're going to open up that drawer. You're going to drop down to the Content Aware Move tool. We're going to click on that tool. We're going to take and make a loose selection around our subject. You want to get enough pixels on the inside and outside of that lasso so that Photoshop has an idea of what it needs to fill in. Now, once we click inside the subject, we're going to slide him over. When we slide him over, you're going to notice that you get a bounding box that pops up. The bounding box pops up because you have transform on drop selected by default. What that means is it allows me to resize my guy. I can either make him smaller or make him larger. I'm going to make him just a little bit larger. And when I press enter, it's going to replace the pixels where the guy was with rock. Now you'll notice that in this instance, it started trying to mimic the vine that was left over there. So I'm just going to I'm not going to worry about that for right now. I'm going to hit cancel, and my guy is there, so I'm going to deselect. And if I were going to do this for a real project, I could use my clone stamp or another healing tool to get rid of that vine that just kind of mysteriously popped up on my screen. We're going to save this file and put your name in front of the file, and then you can close out of it, and that will be the completion of the Content Aware tool. I'm not going to save this for the video purposes. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to click on Fishing Buddy. And in this particular instance, what we want to do, we're going to stay with our Content Aware Move tool, and we are going to make a selection around this fish, and we want to make the fish larger. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slightly drag it up closer to his hand, and when I drag it up, that bounding box is going to reappear. And so now I can enlarge the fish and then kind of readjust it so that it appears that that fish is much larger. And when I press enter, it's going to replace the small fish with a much larger fish. That's pretty easy. All you have to do now is put your name in front of the file name. So you're going to go to File, Save As, put it in your network folder, and you are done with this lesson. Okay, the next thing that we are going to do is we are going to practice perspective crop. You're going to press the letter C on your keyboard. C is going to bring up our traditional crop tool. We're going to open up that drawer and go to perspective crop. I'm going to click on that. Now what I want to do is I want to select on the four corners of this object. Now you'll notice that this painting or this picture in the lesson is skewed slightly because it was taken at a weird angle. So what I'm going to do is place my corners, anchor points, along this picture. After you make the anchor points, you may find that you need to make small adjustments. What we're doing right now is we're defining the plane. You're telling Photoshop what should be a flat surface. When we press enter or press the check mark, it is going to flatten out that picture. Now from here I noticed that mine in this example got a little bit off, so I could undo and go back and reselect my anchor points again. For this sake of the video, we're going to save it with your name in front of it and close out of it. Now for additional practice, we can click on perspective, which is the perspective right side, and I'm going to click on the corners. Now notice I don't see the corner of the screen in this particular picture, so I'm just going to try to guesstimate where it would be, and I'm going to define the other three corners that I can see. So if you'll notice on this corner, I need to go back in and adjust it slightly. And now I notice that my line doesn't line up with the screen, so I can adjust that down and get it as close to correct as possible. When I press enter, now it's going to flatten that out. What we're going to do next is I can use my rectangular marquee tool, and I'm going to select the upper right corner where I can see part of this zoom screen is, and I'm going to go to edit, fill, and I want to fill it with content aware. So I press OK. And so Photoshop is going to try to fill in those pixels. And I'm going to do the same thing in the lower left corner. Now the keyboard shortcut to fill is also Shift F5. So you can do that if you're using your keyboard commands. I'm going to press Shift F5 or Edit Fill, Content Aware, and it's going to get rid of those little control icons. So now I can go to File, Save As, and I can save this into my network folder. I would want to put my name in the front of it. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit more practice, just one more time. I'm going to enlarge this picture right here of this painting, and this time I'm going to click the four corners of the frame. So I'm going to go back to my perspective crop tool. I'm going to click the four corners, trying to get it as close as possible the first time. I click on it, I press enter, and so now I have, after defining the plane, I have a correct scaled image. That's the end of day one, and so you're going to turn in your files and hang out for the next video. Thank you.